Let's get started with Jamboard. To get to Jamboard, the way I get there is I open a new tab and I type in jamboard.google.com. Once that loads up for you, you are going to see all your Jam files. You may have none. These are a few that I've created or even that have been shared with me from others. To start a new Jam, you're going to push the plus sign, and that's going to start a new blank Jam. So let's look at what Jamboard does with just a blank untitled Jamboard. I already said Jam one time, so each separate file is called a Jam. Just like in Google Slides, we call each slide a slide. So this is called a Jam, and the whole thing is our Jam board. So here's my title, Untitled Jam. I could change this to trial or test, whatever your title needs to be. You can see over here, I'm on the selection tool. So right now I'm just like a mouse click, but I can also use this tool to be a pen. This is what the pen looks like. I can choose colors for that pen. I can choose the marker, a little bit thicker. I can choose the highlighter if I want to highlight on something. And there's only a few choices there for the highlighter, or I can choose paint. And you can see that those have different transparency levels. Anytime I want to clear everything off, I can hit clear frame. I also have an eraser. So if I had done, some black pen to show students something here, I could also use the eraser to erase that black pen away if I want to do it, just erase parts. Again, the pointer lets me click and grab things. This next one is sticky note. It pulls up, hey, what do you want to say on this sticky note? So I could say good morning, and I can choose what color I want that sticky note to be, or even if I want it to just be blank. Let me show you what a yellow sticky note looks like. And there it is, it's been added. And then with the pointer, I can grab it and move it around. I can turn it sideways. I can make it bigger. There's lots of choices. If I want to change it, I would click on the three dots in the corner to either edit or duplicate. I'm going to delete this one just to show you what a transparent one looks like. You would use this if you wanted to make like a title. Good morning, class. Check in. Telling me something you did this weekend. If I shared this one with my class and I had that blank on, you'll see it still made a sticky note, but I can then make it big if I want to and put it on the side. Then students could each grab a sticky note and put it on here. If you're wondering how could they do that, we're going to talk about the share function in just a minute. But going through the other things, you can also add an image. So if you click on that image, you could add an image off the internet by taking one with your camera. You could do a Google image search. So if you're studying something like George Washington, and so you wanted to pull in a picture of George Washington and have that image of George Washington, or maybe crossing the Delaware, or whatever image you want, and you could ask the students, hey, add a sticky note telling me about what you notice or wonder about this image. So that's another idea for how to use it. You can also draw some shapes. There is a circle shape, square, triangle. You can see just a few options here, but you can do shapes, and you can color in those shapes with a few choices or make them transparent. You can add a text box. So if I wanted to say this same message, but type in a message to my students, with this choice, you can change. It doesn't have to be just a square like with the sticky note. Delete. I can actually change those directions to be longer if I wanted to. And then finally, this tool is really fun. Down here is the laser. Watch what happens when I do the laser. It eventually goes away. So I could point to something like students look right here, and then it just goes back away. So that's kind of a neat tool. So those are our basics, but also how to share. If you want to share with students so that everyone can type on the document at the same time, can add sticky notes to the document at the same time, you would hit this share button and you would change that Jam. Right now it says restricted, and I'm going to change it to anyone with the link. It defaults to anyone with the link can view. If all they can do is view, your students wouldn't be able to write with pen on something or add a sticky note. So you would want to change it to anyone with the link can edit, and then copy that link and share it in your Schoology, or email it to them, share it however you want to share with students, so that everybody could put a Post-it note or draw if you wanted them to. Another way to share, if you want maybe to take a grade on something, maybe you create a great assignment with Jamboard and you want each student to have their own copy. A different way to share, instead of using the blue button, you would use the blue button to first make sure everyone can view. I'm going to change that to everyone can view. And then at the top here, I am going to go to the top and I am going to delete from the end. Look, I'm deleting until I get to the backslash. Stop, I got to the backslash, and I'm just gonna type the word copy. So you delete from the end until you get to the backslash, write the word copy, and this makes a new pop-up. And it's going to say, would you like to make a copy? Copy document, would you like to make a copy? This link right here, I could copy and share in my Google Classroom, or Schoology, and give that out to my students. And this pop-up window is what would come up so that when the students make a copy, they each have their own. So this could be a way you could share a jam if you're wanting them to add their thoughts and you don't want the whole class on the same one. You just want that one student to share their thoughts. So 2 different ways to share. Let's go on to some examples of some Jamboards. So this is an example of using those sticky notes. In this example, it's a classroom kindness challenge. All the sticky notes are already on there. And the challenge is, hey, students, as a class, we're gonna come back every day just for like 2 minutes and we're gonna check in. And I'm gonna ask, did anyone do an amazing act of kindness? If you have face-to-face students, you could say to your face-to-face students, tell me that act of kindness, and they could call it out, and you as the teacher could double click and write, helped a student in the hall pick up their lunch or their supplies, their things when they fell, right? So that student said it, but you could also share the link if you have online students and they could type in something. Maybe you add 2 or 3 today and then you say, okay, keep thinking of ways you can be kind, students, and tomorrow we'll come back and add more. And then you could set a goal of, after we complete as a class all these Post-it notes full of acts of kindness, we earn this prize, extra recess, or sit by a friend or something like that. So we could change it there. So that is one way to use sticky notes. Another way I've seen a different person use sticky notes I wanted to show you is this teacher. Her name is Venezia_Megan on Twitter. She shares this really cool picture of the day. So she put, I notice, I wonder. And she has this picture here and she asks students to go in, pick one of those, pick an I wonder, and then finish that sentence. What do you wonder? What do you notice about this picture? So you could put a picture of the day and kind of prime the students' interest before you teach on a topic. So they're already kind of hooked and excited to learn about that topic. So that's a cool idea as well for using sticky notes. Another way to use Jamboard is to use the erase feature. Something really cool that I discovered about Jamboard is even if you put a sticky note, I have right here, you've noticed that I have the selection tool selected right now. There is a sticky note under here, but look, I can actually grab it out. Under each of these, I have your prize. Jamboard always puts the pin on top, no matter what. Even if I add a new sticky note right now, new note, save, and then I'll hit cancel. There it is. It's always, the pin, look, is always on top. That new note is always gonna go under the pin mark. So what I did here is I drew all these circles of pin notes, and then what I'm suggesting that a teacher does is pull these out and go, okay, this is gonna be, a stinky feet pass. And then I'm gonna put it back underneath so it's hiding. And then this one's gonna be a different my prize that I love my kids to win, right? Right with a pen, or this one can be whatever it is. Then if a student's doing a great job, you can say, okay, this one's showing, gotta make sure it doesn't show. Okay, wow, Mark, you did such a good job. Choose the eraser tool and scratch off. So then Mark can scratch off and find out, yay, I got stinky feet. So it's a scratch off, but for your online kids to be able to have that scratch off feeling. Or if you want to project this in your class on the Promethean Board or Smart Panel, then your students could walk up with their finger and touch that and erase off. If you want to make that go away, you can just undo. You can also, another trick is you can expand all the slides within the Jamboard, and you can actually duplicate this. So you've got more than one. So after your students scratch off all of these, I'm gonna tell you the truth, it takes forever to draw these in. It took me forever. My daughter was like, what are you doing? As I was drawing and doodling to make sure it covered up everything because we wanted the whole entire sticky note to be covered. You can just copy and make another one. You can also add a plus sign and have a blank. So that's just a little tip with ink. Another cool thing about the ink, knowing that it's on top. Here I used black and blue and yellow to make those ink spots. But on this example, on this mystery reveal example, I used the color white on top of a white background. Why would you do that? You can't see that ink, Meredith. Correct, you can't see that ink. And so you will look magical. Let's say I had already typed in a question right here. Let's pretend I had typed in, my content question. You imagine your content there, okay? And then as the teacher, you're showing the students, hey, I want you to do this assignment. And after you're gonna answer, you're gonna put in a text box and type student answer, right? This is what your student's doing. And then when you're ready, you're going to click down below and just pull up and check your answer. Where did it come from? It's magical. So you as the teacher, you're gonna pull these up and answer. But if you look carefully, you can see I just colored down here white until it didn't show anymore. So it's actually white ink, but in Jamboard, all the ink is always on top. So this is a way you can have students self-check. They look at question 2, maybe they're working with a partner. They say out loud, partner, this is what I think the answer is. What do you think the answer is? And then they just grab from the bottom and there's the answer. So that's really fun. You could also do this as a scratch off and let them erase. I just thought it was kind of fun that it looks amazing and magical. You could use this as a teacher to magically make things appear if you want to. So that's another way to use ink. You may have noticed in a lot of my examples that I have a cool background here, but how do you make a background? Let's look. If I go to add a new slide here, it's not a slide because we're not in slides. It's a frame because we're in Jamboard. There is no background. Right here it says set background. Jamboard provides 7 options. So we've got this background, lines, we've got a grid. If you don't love these backgrounds, what's really cool is if you go to Google Slides, you can actually make a background in Google Slides and import it really easily. So if you know me at all, you know that I like things to match and be really cutesy. So just in case you need to know, here's the Jamboard color codes. This is the only color choices that you have in Jamboard. Their sticky notes are always this yellow, this pink, and this is the color code. So if I wanted to change the color, that's the color I would change it to. So the way you would change a color, like here, I could copy this color code, copy, and this is how I made it that exact pink. I went up to the fill and I chose custom, and then you just paste that in. It's already that color because I already did that, but that's how you would change it. These are the exact colors of the pin choices. So if you want something to match, like for example, I made this blue back here match the exact blue sticky note. So if I wanted to do something in all blue, it would match. You don't have to be that precise, but if you want to know, there you have it. But here's some examples of the ones I shared. I said Classroom Kindness Challenge. I just put something cool at the top, a title at the top, and I put a nice blue in the background so that on that Classroom Kindness Challenge, kids can't move that if you share that with students. That's not movable. It's in the background. Now, here in Slides, it is movable, right? Everything's movable because it's Google Slides. So what I did to put that in the background is I went to File, Download, PNG, and it says of the current slide. So I just go to the slide I want, the one I've made, I download that. It's gonna fly to the bottom corner of your screen. Then you go to your Jam and you say set background and you just choose upload picture. And instead of having to navigate somewhere, you just grab that from the bottom corner and drag it in, and then boom, that's in the background. Now it's not movable anymore. It's in the background. So I will share in the resources a copy of this presentation if you want to just change some of these titles to be your own. That is how I made that title, that background, and that's how I put it in. Now, if you're thinking that's too much work, that's gonna take me too much time to have to go in and make a slide and then drag it in, you have another option. In Canva, and you guys, Canva is a free website at canva.com. If you search, once you are in Canva, if you search for online whiteboard, I probably for billing reasons, that's not the word I'm looking for don't want to be sued reasons, they don't say Jamboard, but you guys, these are all exactly Jamboard sized. So all of these online whiteboard templates, here's templates that are all already made in Canva. But what's great about Canva is it's like Google Slides, it's editable. So like this one says, congratulations, Harold. Thank you, Marty. Happy birthday, Allison. So maybe you just want to put up a jam that says happy birthday to a student and you have everybody write well wishes on your Promethean board. And then you save that and send it. And all of these that say free are free. So there's brainstorm ones. There's this one is stop, start, and continue. So if you want to ask the kids, hey, as a class, what should we start, stop, and continue? You can just basically pull that open, change any of the wording that you want to change in Canva. Then you download it, just like I showed you before, it'll fly to the bottom. You'll upload it into Jamboard by clicking set background. So that is super simple and easy. And Canva is free. They have like a pro account. As you can see, I am not a pro member. You can do so much with the free account. You don't need that pro account. So there are even more things you can do with Jamboard, and there are so many more resources, and I will share those on this page. So look around for more resources about Jamboard. Hope you got some tips and tricks and some templates that you can use in your classroom.